but there's just something missing. It feels awkward. You can also see he's nervous. I mean, it's a good question. And she didn't ask the elephant in the room, but she kind of did, right?
Blake Lively just cracked after Ryan Reynolds torched her, live on stage, in his latest interview. And yes, it was as brutal as it sounds. At the Time 100 Creative Summit, Ryan gave the crowd jokes, wisdom, and charm. But you know what was missing? Any mention of Blake. Not a syllable.
He didn't actually say anything about Blake Lively, and that's kind of the point.
No, my wife, no casual nod, not even a polite name drop. And honestly, that silence was deafening.
Ryan Reynolds' Hollywood PR machine is in full effect, appearing in both The Hollywood Reporter and the Time 100 Creative Summit.
The Time 100. Creative Summit was billed as a celebration. The world's big thinkers, cultural icons, Hollywood royalty, all in one room.
Fails to mention Blake at the summit as he swerves these questions about the negative headline.
But Ryan didn't just bask in the spotlight. He weaponized it. His words landed like a grenade, and everyone in that audience clocked it immediately. Intro 5 on stage. As Ryan soaked in praise for his creativity, he slipped in a joke. But this wasn't a harmless quip. It was razor sharp. He smirked and said something like, "I've carried most of the creative weight in this household. It's exhausting." The audience chuckled, of course. That dry Reynolds humor always lands. But let's pause. Who exactly was he shading? Right. Blake. The same Blake who co-built brands beside him, who stood on red carpets like a polished PR accessory.
It's like
what the headlines are saying about you. So how has that media attention impacted your brand, your businesses?
Well,
I mean, it's a good question.
You know, no, it's like Tina Fey says, if you're feeling good about yourself, just go online. You know.
I mean, that's true, but of course he has to position himself right away as the victim.
And he didn't stop there. He launched into a theatrical monologue about his creative failures, his experiments, his struggles.
It's so true. But the, you know, honestly, I give a lot of talks to students about storytelling and about, you know, how you can do it in different buckets. You can do it in unexpected ways. My company's North Star is bringing people together in smart, fun, and unexpected ways.
It played like a tragic hero's tale. A man against the odds, wrestling with his ideas, forging ahead alone. And Blake? Nowhere in the narrative. No mention of her backing him. No acknowledgement of how she helped turn aviation gin into a monster success.
Yeah, I went, and that also helped with a lot of things too. So those are two like weird tools that I didn't expect to advance things in other areas. I didn't become part. My career was an aggregate. It was very slow, so I didn't have that like overnight success.
Instead, he positioned himself as the solitary genius. Lone wolf. Visionary, unburdened by anyone else's influence.
When I started, so I had, you know, it was the risk of dying from fame is much, much lower when you get older. You know, so.
And then came the dagger. He crowned himself a creative risk taker, but the way he framed it dripped with subtext, like he'd been dragging dead weight. Delivered with that signature smirk, it slipped past as comedy. But strip away the laugh track, and what you've got is a passive-aggressive swipe aimed straight at...
And when I do these talks, sometimes the last one I did, I mentioned that the greatest superpower I ever had in my life, I'm not talking about just my career or anything, was knowing who I am.
Body language sleuths on TikTok froze every frame of Ryan's panel. The micro-expressions didn't lie. The pause after mentioning their joint ventures, the smug head tilt when he implied he carried it all. That wasn't playful banter. It was condescension wrapped in charm. And the fact he aired it unprovoked? That's what detonated the discourse. He threw Blake under a bus the size of the Time 100 stage, grinning the whole way. Within hours of the clip going viral, Blake disappeared. No Instagram stories. No captions. No curated red carpet nostalgia. Just silence. And that silence was deafening.
Who is he? He's the guy who clicked when he read the negative and the positive article about himself. So which was it? You're not either of those. Okay. Well, how did you know who you are?
Because normally, Blake doesn't go dark. She's reactive, rapid fire, always ready with a snarky clapback when rumors touch her marriage or kids. This time, nothing, which in PR terms translates to a 5-alarm fire.
I think she's having a great year, and our role is to be the humanities guide to trusted journalism. And so
fans clocked it. Hardcore stans started combing through her socials. Some swore she quietly unliked old couple goals posts. Not a full purge, but enough to set alarms buzzing. Suddenly, the narrative shifted from Ryan made a joke to, is Blake quietly scrubbing history?
To know it wasn't just Justin, Tim Miller, others, and it seems like Ryan came around and apologized to them. Ryan and Tim apparently are better now, but man, this is tough to watch.
Question then, was this a polished PR strategy? Go dark, let the flames burn out, then re-emerge with a new campaign? Or was this raw? A woman blindsided and bruised by her husband's very public shade, opting to retreat instead of retaliate? Either way, her silence carried more weight than any Instagram post could.
No, it's like Tina Fey says, if you're feeling good about yourself, just go online.
Because the once undeniable Reynolds' lively banter, the playful birthday roasts, the cheeky comment wars, vanished. Ghost town. And in that vacuum, the internet did what it does best, spiral. Reddit threads resurrected old cracks in the marriage, like Blake's mysterious 2022 event no-show. Was this the first visible fracture of a brand built on coupledom? Or just the latest reminder that even Hollywood's power duos aren't bulletproof?
And that's kind of the point. Fails to mention Blake at the summit as he swerves these questions about the negative headlines.
Let's not pretend Ryan and Blake are just husband and wife. They're a brand. The Reynolds lively machine thrives on quirk, wit, and picture-perfect coupledom. So when Ryan minimized Blake's role on stage, and she didn't clap back, that silence wasn't weakness. It was calculated.
It's the reality check that I think Blake and Ryan are refusing to accept. Just take some accountability, dude. You've dug yourself in such a hole and revealing the forced emails you wanted to do. I mean, we know. I don't have to tell all you guys, but the things he forced and yelled at Justin to do, it's sad.
Her team knows the game. One snappy retort, one emotional Instagram post, and suddenly the tabloids are screaming, Divorce Watch 101. So Blake did the one thing PR textbooks swear by: containment. Step back, freeze the narrative, starve the headlines. The problem? Containment doesn't heal. It only delays the implosion.
The storytellers. Ryan Reynolds was on the summit yesterday being interviewed, not Blake, even though she was being, actually the one on the Times 100. She couldn't handle the interview, but Ryan was.
And fans, they've seen this pattern before. The radio silence, the subtle unlikes. Then weeks later, the totally normal photo dump of couple selfies meant to scream we're fine. But the question buzzing now isn't when they'll post a united front. It's whether Blake even wants to die.
It's not a lot of views, it's Time magazine, but still, you'd think he'd be a big enough star that he'd have a fan base that would be out there defending him and going, but I think even his fans know.
So let's pull the curtain back on Mr. Deadpool himself. Because sure, Ryan Reynolds sells himself as your friendly, sarcastic cinnamon roll. But what if that's not authenticity? What if that's a finely tuned product, as carefully engineered as any of his business ventures?
Intentionally positioned yourself as the face of your many businesses, which obviously has a huge upside. You can feature Deadpool in these commercials. People know who you are. The downside is you cannot always control what the internet is saying about you.
Ryan doesn't just dabble in branding. He is branding. From aviation gin to Mint Mobile to his perfectly packaged, awkward dad persona, nothing's accidental. Every caption, every panel quip, every viral moment is plotted. The man's PR is tighter than Blake's red carpet bun and twice as unyielding.
Do these talks. Sometimes, the last one I did, I mentioned that the greatest superpower I ever had in my life, I'm not talking about just my career or anything, was knowing who I am.
And yeah, we've seen the pattern. How Ryan subtly hijacks interviews. It's all laughs until suddenly he's cutting off a host mid-question to reroute the spotlight back to his latest venture. It's charm with an agenda. Watching him work is like watching a Marvel villain disguised in cashmere.
So Ryan Reynolds was interviewed on stage and he talked about, and he got some good questions, but of course he didn't answer the question.
Now, don't get it twisted. He's not evil, he's strategic. He's the guy who cracks a joke about his abs so you don't realize how much discipline it takes to keep them. Self-deprecation is camouflage. Calculated humility.
I like your movies, you're funny, I'm going to try to ignore all the other stuff. I still want to see Deadpool, but you, man, yeah, I'm disappointed.
And Blake. Oh, we've all seen that look. The tight-lipped smile. The 1,000-yard glare masquerading as support while he's riffing about how she puts up with him. It's not just a laugh, It's power couple stagecraft.
I'll be honest, it does feel odd. It feels forced where he's out there being presented as, oh yeah, we got to put you out there. We got to be the man of the people. Everyone loves Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, but there's just something missing.
But let's be clear, she's no amateur. Blake knows exactly what's happening. Years in this business means she can spot media strategy a mile away, even when it's her husband running the playbook. Still, insiders whisper she's not thrilled with Ryan steering the narrative like a one-man sitcom. When you're married to a PR tactician, even silence becomes its own headline.
Was this part of the deal in order to get Blake Lively on the list? Did Leslie Sloan say, and we'll give you Ryan for your creative summit live in person? Because Blake can't do a live in-person interview like this at this point. I think she's still probably not ready for it.
And then there's Blake's side of the story, or rather, her face. Ever since Ryan forgot to credit her in that interview, the internet did what it always does. Freeze frame her expressions and dissect them like crime scene evidence.
And he talked about being a storyteller. He said, I have so many multiple personalities. I'm a storyteller. But Blake was given a mic today.
It's exhausting, but hardly original. It's the same circus Demi Moore got dragged through when a single blink at a fashion show turned into what happened to her face. Headlines, or Khloe Kardashian, who's been digitally remixed so many times we've lost track of the original version.
Not scripted at all. She was given a mic at the event tonight and used this moment. And this is the most frustrating thing of all.
That's the truth. Hollywood chews women up and calls it standards. Blake isn't the first. She's just the latest offering on the
has just been publicly humiliating Justin Baldoni as soon as he could, as many times as he could, and using as many A-list actors as he could.
And let's not forget, she's married to the Ryan Reynolds, the man who makes tuxedo-clad cell phone ads look like James Bond trailers while doubling as the internet's boyfriend. The bar is orbiting the stratosphere. So yeah, maybe she's cracking. Maybe it's Botox. Maybe it's burnout.
Lively shared the couple's plans for the property in South Salem. Of course it's Salem. Isn't that where witches go?
Because being Mrs. Ryan Reynolds isn't just Instagram cute, it's a full-time endurance test. Smile politely while he retells the same hilarious Fallon anecdote for the 50th time. Stay flawless on red carpets while juggling kids and paparazzi stakeouts. And now, field fan theories that you're secretly unraveling just because your husband forgot to mention you during his funny man takes credit for everything routine. Exhausting doesn't even cover it.
But there's just something missing. It feels awkward. You can also see he's nervous. He feels very nervous. Is he going to get asked a question? At some of these softball places like Time, they clearly aren't. And the question is like, why is he even there at the Time Summit? Was this part of the deal?
Let's be real. The pressure to stay relevant in Hollywood is already punishing. For women, it's not just a job. It's unpaid overtime with no days off. Blake could be dealing with a completely normal rough patch, but the headlines scream, did she get work done? Meanwhile, Ryan gets crowned for aging like fine wine. The double standard is glaring. Every time Blake skips a selfie, takes a breather, or dares to stay quiet, it morphs into a scandal. Her silence becomes the headline. Ryan cracks a joke at her expense, and suddenly he's so relatable. Too perfect? She's fake. Too private? She's hiding something. Too candid? She's unstable. For Blake, there's no winning hand, just endless scrutiny.